Morning, everybody. Yes, good Tuesday morning. This the 12th day of March. So glad you're out there tuned in to the two best hours of local live talk radio coming to you on 102.1 FM radio dial. Yes, radio. Good terrestrial broadcasting here. Just check us out. Also, we're coming to you by a lot of other ways, like, for example, live streaming on WALTmeridian.com. And don't forget that wonderful WALT app. And, of course, there is Facebook Live. So all these things there come to bring you these two best hours. Roger B. here with you this day. Well, I just happen to be in town. Thought I'd make a little check here with Mr. Rob Atkinson.
Just happen to be around.
Just happen to be around.
Happen to be in the neighborhood.
Well, I know it's a busy week for me out on the circuit, but thanks for letting me come in here today, sir.
Yeah, well, you came in on an important day. It's primary day.
I had to land in Meridian long enough to vote.
Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Yeah, polls are...
I didn't do the absentee this time.
Yeah, polls have been open for about 10 minutes now.
That's right.
10 minutes, so yeah.
So if anybody has any attendance report, you'd like to call them in, let us know what's it like out there at the polls at 601-485-9191, 601-485-9191. It is a primary. Sometimes people don't feel the need to get out, but this is important. Take the time to get out and go by your polling place.
Yeah, looking at the sample ballot, and it's a pretty easy one today. On the Democratic side, you have the presidential race on the Democratic side with Joseph R. Biden Jr., and then for the United States Senate, Ty Pinkins is running unopposed on the Democratic side. On the Republican side of things, for United States President, you got Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Donald J. Trump. And then for United States Senate, that's the one we're obviously going to be focusing on. Gannon Burton, Dan Eubanks, and Roger F. Wicker. And then for the U.S. House of Representatives, 3rd Congressional District, unopposed is Michael Guest on the Republican side. So obviously the Senate race between Burton, Eubanks, and Wicker is going to be the main focus for today. And obviously you would think by the end of tonight, Donald Trump should be pretty close, if not clinching the required number of delegates to clinch that Republican nomination, because Georgia's voting today, Hawaii, Mississippi, and Washington State are all headed to their polling places. And, Roger, as far as Republican delegates go, there's 161 up for grabs. So it's going to be pretty close. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion that Trump's going to be the nominee. But as far as getting the math, he's going to be pretty darn close to cinching that up today. So
that's going to happen today, folks. So make a point. Your vote does count. Granted, in a national election, it does get diluted with other votes. But that's, if everybody stayed home, what would it be?
Yeah, exactly. And as far as absentee votes go,
it's your chance. It's your civic duty and your responsibility.
Michael Watson, Secretary of State, did release the absentee numbers yesterday statewide, and I looked up the information before we got on the air this morning. Here in Lauderdale County, 292 is what was on the chart from the state of Mississippi with Michael Watson. Now, as far as absentee ballots were concerned, I think there was a request for just over 21,000, around 21,000 and change, and about a little less than 20,000 of those came back. And, of course, as long as you postmark some of those by today's date and get them in by a certain date, they will count toward the election. But 292 here in Lauderdale County, I believe, was the total we found earlier before we got on the air. So
what you're saying is we do mail-in ballots?
Yeah, as long as far as if you get the absentee ballot, as long as you get it postmarked by a certain date, and I believe today is that day.
See, I thought I had to go to the courthouse and see Donna Jill and do the absentee voting.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, so
but they do send them out. Yeah,
they do send them out as well. So.
All right. Well, yes, I guess I've done that before, and in some areas where I had to vote absentee, it was sent to me. Yeah, we do that. Yeah. It's so. And you said in Lauderdale County about 690 some.
Somewhere
absentee ballots for our county.
I believe that was the number. I'm gonna go back and look at that again.
Well, but I think you told me 691 when we were talking before the show.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of numbers thrown at you this morning.
Yeah, a lot of numbers there.
But as far as statewide, a little less than 20,000 is what we ended up statewide. Yeah, there was a request for 21,633 absentee ballots requested. 21,538 absentee ballots were sent, and 19,232 ballots received here in the state. So, like I said, a little less than that 20,000 number is what came back there. So.
All right. That's Mornings in Meridian. I'm going to throw another number at you. There are 1,277 Toyota dealerships in the country.
Hey!
But there's only one that you really need to know about right here if you're in our listening area, and that is, of course, Doc's Toyota just up the road in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Absolutely. Short drive to Philadelphia there on Highway 16 West. Of course, they got all the 24s there on the lot. Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, they got them all there on the lot. And beautiful dealership there on that hill there on Highway 16 West. And, of course, you can always shop online, too. A lot of folks like to check out the inventory before they make the drive to Philadelphia at docstoyota.com. They even got some used inventory there on the lot. And service department is open until 5, even open a few hours there on Saturday, 8 until noon. So make the short drive to Philadelphia and check out why we always say there is no deal like a Doc's deal. 601-600-3786. That's 601-600-3786. That is Doc's Toyota. Once again, their website is docstoyota.com. And looking at those Lauderdale County numbers one more time. Well, if I can get the Dilio to work here. Yeah, 692. So, yeah, it was 692 on the absentees here in Lauderdale County. And they got it all broken down by the districts and whatnot. But, yeah, that was the running total just here in our county alone. So, not sure if that's good, bad for a primary. I just know that the turnout today, Roger, as far as in-person voting, I would think would be a little low. And we mentioned this yesterday, spring break, going on this week. So I would imagine in-person voting probably going to be a little low today, I would imagine.
By the way, what's a good week not to go to the beach?
I know, right?
If you're making family plans, what's a good week not to go?
I know. Vacation, what's that? I don't know.
Oh, can we go to the condo again and wait in line for an hour and a half to go out and eat? And can we do that, please?
Negative.
Okay. No, I understand. You're off school. You got to go when you're off school. I get that.
School?
School. Yes. What spring break's all about. You see the little interview on Fox with Lawrence Jones, who's in New Orleans. New Orleans being kind of a destination town for
I didn't know New Orleans was
break.
a spring break destination until this morning. So
I think it's more like New Orleans is trying to be a spring break destination.
True.
I think that's probably more what that's about.
And I love, was it the guy that was on the interview this morning, was he from the New Orleans police? And he was basically giving all the crime stats. We've gone down here, there, now. I was like, yeah, you can tell me that all day long, but I'm not going. I'm sorry.
All the stats. Yeah, it's great.
Our homicides have gone down 20%. Well, okay.
Well, and I do happen to have heard from some that, not by experience, but I've heard from some that they, they are an event city, as they said.
Oh, sure.
But they have a lot of undercover folks on the Bourbon Street scene or on the in the French Quarter.
You don't say.
A lot.
I'm about to say they're everywhere.
So eyes are on you in New Orleans if you're there.
What kind of job has that got to be?
I
undercover on Bourbon Street.
I guess you got to stand there and hold a beer in your hand and watch people, I guess.
That'd be a book to be written.
That's right. Undercover on, well, there's a lot. Well, no.
Bourbon Undercover.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's be quiet. We might be able to do a whole new television show here that, just might catch on.
Could be earning a retirement.
Hey, I'm getting closer. I'm ready. Top reasons, according to Axios, that why people don't vote. Why won't you vote today? Give us your reason. The big one, of course, topping out at 17.6%. People say not interested. That's the reason not to vote. Another one is the second one at 14% say did not like candidates or campaign issues. So I don't like the candidates and I don't like the issues. That's another reason. The third reason for not voting, too busy. Conflicting schedule. All right, there's that. And then there's illness and disability coming in at number 4 of the reasons people don't vote. And number 5, this one's happened to me before, out of town. Didn't make plans for the absentee, got stuck out of town, didn't vote. I've had that happen. Registration problems, number 6. And number 7, now this has been since 2020, COVID-19 concerns.
Ooh. The China virus.
China virus. These are, and let's see. Here's the one I think I just appreciate anybody who admits this one. Forgot. That's the next
I
reason.
figured that number would be a lot higher.
It's down to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's number 8 on the list there.
I forgot.
Was the voting today? Listen to your show every day, but I didn't know today was the day to vote.
Right.
Oh, okay. All
You
right.
moron.
601-485-9191 is our talk line. Want to hear from you. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
My good morning, true American patriots.
Hiya, Matt.
I want everybody to get out and vote.
Get out.
Vote your heart and conscience. Vote for what you stand for. It is a constitutional right.
Yep.
It is a privilege.
Yep.
But in my belief, it's also a civic duty and responsibility. Roger Wicker, beware the Ides of March.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, you're making the comparison to Julius Caesar there. Mercy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
E.K. Brute.
Look at you. Oh, man.
Yeah, I think Mr. Wicker is going to be worried about getting that 50% tonight.
Well, let's make a change, folks. It's like everything else. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and you claim to be. But if you're doing something, it's not providing the desired results. How retarded is it to keep doing the same thing and think things are going to change? Try something different. And like one of Dynamis Trumpetus is saying, what you got to lose, I mean, if it's bad now, if it's worse, well, next time get rid of that one and get another one. This is one time your voice can actually be heard. We, the people. The power is vested in the people, not a tyrannical, dictatorial, oppressive government.
Did you see the
We have the means of change. We don't have to do like third world countries. We don't have to vote with bayonets and bullets. We can vote with ballots.
Good stuff.
It has happened here.
Yeah, good. We need to be able to exercise our free right to vote. Yes.
Absolutely. But
I
you
agree.
know, the apathy of people surprises me, and in another manner, it doesn't. You know, you can find an excuse for anything, but the Book of Hass says an excuse is your personal statement of failure. So everybody get out there and vote for your candidate of your choice and exercise your right.
Now say that again.
Somebody
Say
died
that
and
again about
bled
what
for that
excuse
right.
is. Has say that again. An excuse is what?
An excuse is your personal statement of failure.
I like that. I'm gonna chew on that one today.
Okay.
I like that.
Don't barf. Don't barf your butter beans.
Don't barf your butter beans. Yeah.
I won't do that.
I saw one of your sponsors the other day, John Dufour, and we talked and laughed a little bit. He was leaving, and I said, John, yeah, Hazmat, what is it? Don't be a dumb
buddy.
Yeah. He freaked out.
We appreciate you utilizing our sponsors because that's why they're here to
But I'll tell
keep
you
us
what,
on the
man,
air.
My daddy, when I was a little boy, he had a saying for everything, and most of them I have stood me good steed for 74 years. Do business where business is being done. There's a reason people go there. They like the service. They like the products. They like the price. They like the interface between the company and them. Yeah, when you go down to, and well, I'm gonna save $10 down the road. I'm going to Shaky Jake's, and you get something, and you go
Shaky
back, and they deny you like Peter. You got a defective product. Oh man, we don't even sell batteries down here. Who are you? You know, you never have a problem at Battery One Source.
Yeah. One thing that won't happen at Battery One Source, you go up there and you just simply have a bad connection on your battery, but they know you don't know that. They know you don't know that, then they're not going to sell you a battery just to trick you. They're going to just say, hey, you have a bad connection. We fixed it. Your battery's good. Come back and see us when you need one.
Yep.
You roll in there, the hood's up, they're out there with a crash car with all their meters and test gear and cleaning gear. And if you don't need it, they're not going well, you know, and try to upsell you something you don't need.
Maybe we ought to take some of that fence down and put maybe we ought to put in like a pit crew lane right there, because that's kind of like going into pit crew.
Johnny on the spot. Man.
I know, you're right.
And what I liked, I was down there. I had a battery that was going to be charged, and they just, instead of putting my name on it, they just put hazmat.
Oh no!
That's what I did whenever he won pancake tickets. I just put Haz.
Yeah. So remember out there, folks, don't be a dumb bunny. Go to people you can trust, and they do you proud every single time. Roger that.
Oh man!
I feel like we don't need to do Battery One Source now. They were on the schedule today.
That was a good ad for Battery One Source. He was talking about John DeFore, the guy they
so nice and named him twice.
No, that's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Battery One Source, good place, and thank you, Haz, for that personal, unsolicited endorsement.
There you go.
So there you have it. It's Mornings in Meridian. We want to hear from you at 601-485-9191. And in all seriousness, folks, we don't stand up and talk about these companies just for grins and giggles. We do appreciate their business because they're sponsors of our program, and you can hear us because of them. But we also know that they're very credible, and you go there and you find out and you get the service that we talk about. And it's just nice to know that we are promoting people that are definitely worthy of the promotion which we give.
Well, and plus we're customers as well. I know I'm a proud customer of Battery One Source, like a lot of these folks we're talking about. So that's what makes it all good.
And I know sometimes you think in radio, you know, well, no, you're promoting them, so you go there and you get special deals.
No,
and you get no. We're there paying market price and doing business with them. It's not one of those situations where we get special favors as a result of being a promoter for those businesses. So just kind of keep that in mind when
supporting them like you do.
That's exactly right. And it's Mornings in Meridian. We want you to be here. Our number, 601-485-9191. The polls are open. Go down there and cast your vote on your way to work, or some of you may have to take your lunch hour, or the boss might just actually let you go down there and cast a vote and come back to work.
That's right.
I know I would. 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, guys. How you getting along?
Getting along well. How about yourself?
Well, Roger, I finally got to be number one for something.
Did you really? Fantastic. Yeah. Tell us what you were number one at.
I was number one to vote over in our voting place there in Russell.
Oh,
nice.
Good job.
Right.
That's right, over at the firehouse there in Russell.
Yeah.
Was there anybody there with you?
Well, one guy walked in before I left.
Okay. I was wondering just how busy it might have been.
Yeah.
No, plenty of parking space.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
No, it ain't.
Well, that's part of the process. So, folks, that's why we're here reminding everybody that this is Primary Tuesday. Last week was Super Tuesday across the country, but this is Super Tuesday in Mississippi.
That's right. But is it not an indication if there's not many people at the opening of the polls early in the morning? Is that an indication it's going to be low?
Yeah, I think it does, because a lot of people kind of try to get that vote in before they head to work, and so there's lots of, usually when the polls are open, there's a few people there to try to do like you did, early bird gets the worm kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if daylight saving time might have had some folks still behind.
Well, and too, we mentioned earlier it's spring break week too, so a lot of folks are probably out of town as well, so that did not vote absentee. So
yeah. You reckon them Democrats planned this thing that way?
I don't know if they're the ones that planned this. I think that's I think that's set by a lot of people.
Or is that the way Roger Wicker planned it?
Oh, I just saw a spot on the TV. A lot of money on the advertising for the Wicker campaign.
Well, he wears a lot of blue this day and time, I think. But I don't know. You know, they're always scheming and coming up with some kind of outlaw way of doing things. But anyway,
well,
I'm on my way to Alabama, and before I got out of range, I thought I'd let you know that I am number one today.
Number one. Well, I thank you, Gerald, for getting out there and voting, and thank you for that live report, because that's what we were asking for. And be safe as you travel to the neighboring state.
Thank you much, and y'all have a good day.
You do the same.
I don't know. Voted and then got across the border. It almost sounds like an illegal. I'm going back across the border. I came and voted. Now I'm going across the border.
Yeah.
No, I know he's got family or business or something. There to look over in the voting precinct where you are. You can give us a call and give us that report. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're not going to vote, which one of these reasons is it? Now, I mentioned the COVID-19 being like number 7 there. This was a survey that was taken in 2020.
I was about to say I didn't know that was still a thing. So.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Yeah. Where?
The attack of the face diapers.
Oh no, you didn't. we need to make a movie like that. Here we go. We got another idea for a moneymaker. Attack of the face diapers. Mornings in Meridian. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's Fox News coming up, followed by Your Money Now, and then more of your calls on the other side. Stay with us. I like me some Dire Straits.
Check out Guitar George. He knows all the
He knows them. That's exactly right. Mornings in Meridian. Welcome back to the 2 best hours of local live talk radio. Roger B. at work today. Rob's in the house.
Hello.
I appreciate it. I know when Paul Tarver and them come in here, y'all have some great shows, and I think Toby's going to be joining you tomorrow.
Yeah, Dr. Bates will be here tomorrow.
That'll be great. So, did you ever get a? Yeah, there's I have to ask you on the break if there's a certain question that he answered. Anyway, something I wanted to know about MSU. You know, that's his employer.
That.
Yeah, that.
Whoa.
Anyway, Mississippi State University. Basically, I want to know why they're not letting private companies, private organizations use the Commerce Auditorium anymore. I want to know that one.
It's always been a question.
Well, I mean, it just has become a question because they've just recently changed the way they do things over there. Anyway, 601-485-9191 is our talk line. By the way, if you were if you didn't know you had a leak last Friday, you probably have a good roof, but you probably found out if you had a bad roof last Friday when it rained like it did. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you knew who to call, but we want to remind you anyway. Call Martin Roofing.
601-485-5920. That's right, Doug Martin Sr., Doug Martin Jr., and who's the real brains behind this operation?
Stacy.
It's always a quick answer. Of course, I'm a satisfied customer of Martin Roofing. A lot of folks are. And, we talked about doing business with all these advertisers. And, we had to get a roof put on our home a couple of years back. And we had a little bit of damage from one of these storms come rolling in, one of them spring storms, and, did some damage. And, Doug Martin Jr. went up there and got all the measurements, gave us some options, and they came out on a Friday, started the project, and came out there on Saturday morning bright and early and finished it up the next day. And you would have never thought they were there because the cleanup process was just pristine. It was perfect, them getting everything cleaned up. And that's what they do. They stand behind their work from start through cleanup and get you a free estimate today and let them inspect for some damage. And like I said, after all this rain Friday, I imagine you're going to know for sure. 601-485-5920. They're members of the Better Business Bureau, and they've been doing roofing right for 30-plus years. So that is a long, long time. So do business with them today at 485-5920. That's Martin Roofing.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning.
Hello.
Morning.
Earlier, you had said something about New Orleans trying to make itself a spring break destination site.
Yes.
And in defense of New Orleans, which I don't generally like to do, if you like war memorabilia, military memorabilia, they have an excellent World War II museum.
See, I need to go down to that. I do want to go visit that museum. I really do.
Okay, if you are serious about going down there, plan on staying all day long.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If you read everything there is to read, if you look at every exhibit, if you watch every little video that they have, you will be there all day long. And it is excellent.
Yeah, they have
really
they have a museum. I was recently in Fredericksburg, Texas, and they have the Pacific War Museum, which is kind of in conjunction with the Admiral Nimitz. He was from that area, so it's in conjunction with his museum there. But you're right, to go through these things and to really soak up the wealth of history and knowledge that they provide, you've got to spend some time.
Yes. And I've carried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've carried 6 of my grandkids also to the Air Museum in Pensacola.
Oh, another goodie.
And, of course, I didn't carry them all at one time.
Yeah.
But I would still love to go back again today.
Okay.
It is an excellent museum if you've never been to it.
And probably just don't recommend going this week.
Yeah, many of us that have never were never in the military, a lot of times we don't know how big or how small some of these aircraft really are.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
until you actually get there, you think, well, gosh, I always thought they were bigger than that, or I thought they were smaller than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you get to see these things, and it's really interesting going to either one of them. You know.
Well, you're reminding us that New Orleans does still have some redeeming value.
Very little, but they do have some.
Very little.
The World War II Museum, yes.
And if you want a good place to eat,
Mm-hmm.
walk downtown through some of these back alleys and find some of these little restaurants in the back alleys, and they will have some of the best food you ever put in your mouth.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
All right.
We were down there, and a fellow said, I know where to go eat, and we started following him, and we were starting to go through some of these back alleys and some of these streets.
You were
and I'm
starting to get
thinking,
worried, weren't
"God."
you?
Oh, yeah. And we came up to this little bitty hole in the wall. It was just an old, dirty screen door,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you opened it up and you walked in, and we were the only ones there. And I'm thinking, gosh, I don't know how good this is going to be. We sat down, and before we finished eating, the place was packed, and the food was delicious. And there was a little midget with a tuxedo walking around talking to people at every table, just walking around, shaking hands, talking to people, how's your food and stuff. And his name was Sammy.
Sammy.
Come to find out, Sammy owned the place.
How about that?
There you go. Okay. All right.
But I'm telling you, yeah, they do have some redeeming qualities, but not very many.
All right. Well, there you have it. There's a personal recommendation to travel to New Orleans for the World War II Museum and some good back street dining there.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Hey,
All right.
good call. Thank you for that, sir.
Thank you.
All righty. Hey, that's a good reminder. I do want to. I have not yet been. I generally try to avoid New Orleans, but that's got to be something I need to go
on
do.
the list.
I need to go do that, Rob.
Go during the day.
Well, and spend all day, and I guess if you do that, you better plan to spend a night. I mean, I don't know. Make a little long weekend out of it there.
Make a long weekend out of it.
I don't know about that whole go down some alleyways though. That alleyways in New Orleans, I get a little. That gives me a little queasy there.
Yep, some strange things go on in those alleys.
I want to come back with all my organs, you know.
Yeah, that and something else. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mornings in Meridian, 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How you doing?
Good morning, Roger. I was just listening to your last caller there. It seemed like he's enjoys the museums of this country.
Yes, yes.
I got one he didn't mention, and it's as far as aviation goes, probably the top of the line, and that's in Dayton, Ohio. At Wright Patterson there.
Yeah.
And he spent a day in New Orleans. If you go through that thing and do what he says, you know, look at things and take it all in.
Right.
You better plan on 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. I've not been to that one either, at Wright Patterson. That's, of course, Dayton, Ohio. If people remember, that is actually where the Wright brothers were from.
And they start off, in the first building you go in, they kind of start off that stage there, and they just work your way through on up to the moon landing and all.
Wow.
And I tell you what, you would thoroughly enjoy that, the deal, but you're not going to do it justice if you don't plan on more than 1 or 2 days.
Well, there you have it. So plan to spend some time in Ohio. And, of course, since we're talking about aviation museums, I will have to say, of course, the Air and Space in Washington, but also the Udvar Hazy Air and Space Museum there at Dulles International there outside of D.C. A very, 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 very good museum to go to for that.
Into that one, and they got this Ole Miss the Key Brothers plane in there and all, and I've been to Pensacola to the Navy Museum, but Wright-Patterson takes the cake.
There you go. Well, all right. There we have a recommendation for a trip to New Orleans and a few nights in Dayton, Ohio.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm sneaking back across the border, as you said.
Oh, you've already been to Alabama and coming back, huh?
No, I'm still going.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, we don't want to know your business. We realize that a lot of things cross our border there, and we just don't ask questions.
I got my green card to get back in Alabama.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Gerald.
All right.
601-485-9191. If you're listening to this show and you're not in our area, just know that we're about 13 miles from, or 19 miles, I should say, from the Alabama line. And we like to have a little fun with that. Yeah, right across the line is Cuba. We're not far from Cuba.
Say what?
Cuba, Alabama. 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Little update from Zero.
Yeah.
All right.
Place. I was number 2 there, and it was quiet, but they were coming in. When I walked in, I thought it was funny. The lady asked me, was I a Democrat or Republican, and I just looked at her. I think she figured it out. But anyway, that was a little update from the big city of Zero, Mississippi.
Zero, Mississippi. There's nowhere but up from there, right?
That's right.
That's right. You can only go up from there too.
But I'm trying to remember where that voting precinct is held. That's
It would be at the Long Creek Fire Station.
Long Creek.
Oh,
on
yes.
Zero Road.
Yes. Okay. So
Right there by the ball field in Long Creek there.
Yep.
I do recall now. I lived down that way, a couple of years, and that was a nice part of the county to live in. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yes, it certainly is. I'm a member of the fire department there, and so I'm kind of know all the people pretty well there,
Yeah.
speak there in that area.
And one thing we need to remember, you're talking about people being there and open up the polls. We want to thank the people that are operating the polling places, the people that volunteer, that come in there and just make sure that voting is done and done right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And guys, get out and vote. My dad was he was real. he was real. Back then, he served in World War II, and he was real strong in the fact, son, you got to get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. And, and I still remember his words. So remember those guys that served, and get out there and vote.
Well, it's like the sign that I'm looking here. It's we got a little magnet right here on our console, and it says here, it's a quote from Mark Twain. It says, "Politicians and diapers must be changed often and for the same reason."
Absolutely. I did my part on one thing.
Okay.
There you go.
That's all I'll say about that.
There you go.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Right.
I like that. All right. Thank you, Forrest. We appreciate it.
Yep.
601-485-9191. We've heard from Russell. We've heard from Zero. So
Some slow going out there this morning, but
let us know what things are like at your polling place. You can call us and give us that update at 601-485-9191. You and I had to be here, so I know we didn't get by our polling place. I guess we'll do that after work. Is that our plan?
yeah, I'll probably go after lunch today, and swing by the Meehan Volunteer Fire Department.
Of course, those of you know that Rob's our main man for Meehan.
That's right. Look out, Volunteer Fire Department. I'm coming on in, swooping on in.
It's nice to have a little time just to sit down there and talk and say hi to everybody.
It's the same poll workers we've had for years.
Thank y'all for doing what you do.
Absolutely.
What we'll do now is take a quick break. We'll be right back. I'm Roger. He's Rob.
You feel alright.
Well, Dolly, I came in here looking like that because you came in here looking like you do. I could relate to her man there, though. Big ideas and a little, little behind. Mornings in Meridian. Glad you're out there. So, what's the matter, Rob?
No, I'm fine.
What's the matter, Rob? 601-485-9191. By the way, I'm playing songs that you will hear on our sister station today. We're talking about our sister station, of course, Dolly's on WUCL 105.7. The Legend.
The Legend.
And those are songs I literally pulled off of today's log. So
nice.
You'll hear that on there. As well as Dire Straits on WKZB, The Buzz.
97.9 The Buzz.
That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, I know we're supposed to do the numbers, not the letters.
Yeah, well.
Nobody remembers letters. It's the numbers.
The numbers.
97.9.
97.9.
All right, we're having a great day here at Mornings in Meridian. Want to hear from you, but we've been talking about great local businesses here that support us, and I tell you what, we can't thank the Carr family enough for all what they do down there at Trucker Supply.
Milwaukee, Yeti, they've got it at Trucker Supply. And, of course, it's not just truck parts at Trucker Supply. Like we said, they've got Tool Central down there with Milwaukee. And Knipex tools, they've got them. Channel locks with German Engineering and cordless power tools. And, of course, we mentioned Milwaukee. They got a whole wing of tools there from Milwaukee. And, of course, Yeti. It's not just the mugs and coolers. All the accessories are there as well from the Yeti Company. And they're one of the biggest Yeti distributors you're going to find here in the area. Of course, Streamlight flashlights. They've also got hot seat pressure washers. Yes, springtime is here. And if you got that pressure washing job, well, you need to get a brand new one. Get one from Trucker Supply. Hot Sea has got them down there at 519 Highway 19 South. So Tool Central, Yeti Central, they've got it all there. Next door to the Golden Arches there at 519 Highway 19 South. That's Trucker Supply. Go by and see them. And, of course, the Carr family started it all back in 1969, and they are still rolling at Truckers.
All right. Go in there, and I dare you to come out there without something.
Exactly.
Bingo. Mornings in Meridian. Good morning, caller. How you doing today?
Good morning, gentlemen, and Roger. How are you doing today?
Thank you, sir.
Doing fine, Mr. Royal.
Well, I guess we're just building on up for the week. So we got Paul yesterday, Roger today, Toby tomorrow, and who we got rest of the week?
Mr. Tarver will be here Thursday and Friday.
Mr. Tarver, Thursday and Friday. Cool. I guess he's hung over from doing his show last night.
I kind of felt bad asking Paul to do the show yesterday morning with the mixtapes, too.
Mixtape coming on that night.
He was a trooper yesterday. So.
Appreciate all the fill-ins, but it allows me to go out there and make the big checks.
The fill-ins? Yeah, we appreciate you filling in every now and then.
I like to fill in every once in a while.
Yeah.
So other than just calling and harassing me, what else is on your mind that's of really importance here?
That's about it. It's election day. I'm going to vote this afternoon after work.
Okay. Very good.
But anyway, and man, I hung out with Joe Saturday night.
I saw some photos on Facebook about that.
Was this a VFW night?
It looks like it was a birthday party soiree there.
Yeah, we had a little birthday deal for Ann because Tuesday was her birthday, so we celebrated all week.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Good deal. That's right. So, your friend Ann and her are kind of good buddies there.
Yeah, they have just really, they're like magnets sticking together. It's like kind of scary.
We're becoming the Facebook of radio. It's like the earbook, I guess we are.
Earbook.
We're earbook.
Yeah, that's it. But we went out and ate with some friends in Quitman.
Sure.
And then we came back to our little watering hole here in Meridian, and Joe met us down there, and we had a bunch of friends. It was a good old time. And but Joe, she gets a little bit lively, get a little alcohol going.
Well, no, be careful what you tell now. This is
she's gonna be calling up any minute now.
Well, I can't tell everything that was told. We'd get in trouble. But
I personally don't think it requires alcohol to get her started.
No, it really doesn't.
But I would like to see Joe with the excessive amount of alcohol. I think that would be. She would be.
No, you
she
don't.
would be interesting.
It is spring break.
Don't want to do that. Have mercy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Joe somewhere where we can hang out and really partake.
So where did you eat out in Quitman? I'm just curious. Where did you eat in Quitman?
At Chefsky's.
Chefsky's. Okay, gotcha.
That's a pretty good meal up there. You have to send them a bill for it, but man, they got a buffet up there, evening buffet.
Yeah.
And it's like $18, and man, it's got some good stuff on it.
Okay, well there you have it.
That says a night out on the town like a buffet.
Hey, that's it. Man, they get big old hamburger steaks and pork chops and all kind of stuff.
Well, there you go. That's kind of I guess that's a free advertisement we just did for folks down there in Quitman. I was just curious. I want to know.
I'm going to mail the bill after a while. So.
Mail it to Zane. He'll pay.
Yeah, go ahead, mail it.
Yeah, there you go. It's in the mail.
And of course, I don't know where I got all these banners, but everywhere I went, we left the banner "Happy Birthday, Ann," and it ended up on a bunch of Facebook pictures.
That's what
over
I
the weekend.
I did see one of the banners. I was like, oh, look at that. I was like, another one. So.
Yep. There's banners all over town. Happy birthday, Ann.
Well, please convey to Ann our birthday sentiments as well. We appreciate her kind of taking you under her wing, and we hope that she has many more birthdays so that she can and maintain her health and be able to take care of you.
Yeah, well, it's not our birthday week anymore. That was last week, so we won't worry about that.
Wow.
But if you'd have been there last Tuesday when I called in and wished her a happy birthday on the actual day, you know.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
No, that's okay. We understand.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's hey, you know, I don't know what to say to you, Zane. Just it is what it is. That's the go-to line, is it? It is what it is.
There we go.
And you know what else it is? It's time to take a Fox News break, Zane. So, won't you say something nice on your way out?
Fox News is next, followed by, I think, Sean Hannity's going to do his little morning minute, and then back to another hour of Mornings in Meridian.
Hey, good job. All right. Thank you.
You guys have a wonderful day and take care.
All right. Mornings in Meridian. I think he did all right on that.
Yeah.
We will be back. Don't go anywhere, folks. business is what we do. We get up in the morning and do that. Well, I do today. I'm here today, anyway. Roger B., along with the main man from Meehan, Mr. Rob Atkinson.
Good morning.
I tell you what, you are the man in charge, and we're just glad you're here on a regular basis so that it affords people like me the chance to go off and do other things.
Oh, I forgot to tell. Oh, sorry.
What? You mean your fob still work today, Burke?
It still worked, I tell you.
I tell you what. Glad to be here, of course. Thank you. It's just one of these crazy weeks. It's going to settle down next week, and I can tell you that it'll settle down. It's going to settle down. Anyway, glad you're out there, folks. We want you to be part of the show. It just goes to show you that, they always said here in radio, one monkey doesn't stop the show. So there you go. Rob, before we get into the fact that this is Tuesday and that is the election day, or the primary day, let's first of all talk about somebody who really takes care of business, and I'm talking about Purvis Business Machines.
You know, Jerry and Betty Purvis been doing business right there, service not excuses, since 1979 down at Purvis Business Machines. Of course, Don Lucas, our good guy down there as well. And you can check out their showroom at 4505 Highway 39 North here in Meridian, or you can go online, gopurvis.com. And, folks, lease return color copiers, you can save up to 85%. That is fantastic savings there at Purvis. Of course, they sell, service, rent, lease that quality name brand office equipment, those copy machines, printers, the all-in-one devices that print, scan, copy, fax, email. I mean, these devices are so smart, it's unreal. And, of course, Toshiba, CopyStar, Kia, Sarah, Hewlett, Packard, all the name brands that you know and love when it comes to office equipment there. Whether it be your home office or at work, whatever it might be, they've got something for you down there at Purvis Business Machines. So, and once again, shop local, too, with these folks at Purvis. Service not excuses since 1979, and their number, so easy to remember, 601-693-COPY. That's 601-693-COPY, Purvis Business Machines.
All right, it's probably, as you were talking about, the 4 states that are participating in primary elections today includes Mississippi, Georgia, you said Hawaii, and I think you also said Washington.
Yep, Washington State. Yep,
Washington State. So there's enough delegates there that Trump could, as you said, kind of sew up the nomination, possibly tonight.
161 is up for grabs as far as the total Republican delegates. As far as Mississippi is concerned, we have 40 delegates that are up for grabs here in the Magnolia State. 43 in Washington State, 19 in Hawaii, and 59 in Georgia. Of course, the biggest prize tonight is the 108 Democratic delegates there in Georgia, which we know it's going to be Trump-Biden rematch here, but it's just to make it formally done.
Sure.
I think both of them have the path, obviously, to get it done tonight. If not, next week. There'll be a few primary states next week, but this is pretty much all set for another November run.
It's and so today's the day, folks, to get out and cast your vote. And again, it's most likely that Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee. Of course, you know, Biden will be the Democrat nominee. That's from Mississippi.
But the Senate seat is big.
There's the big question. You have an incumbent, Roger Wicker, and 2 challenges with both Eubanks and Burton. And you mentioned something before the break, and that is the big question is Wicker may be hoping to see, is he going to get that 50% plus one? Will there be a runoff after tonight?
That's going to be the big question. Could he?
How do you feel? What you feel, Rob?
Could he be Michael Guested? You remember when Cassidy and Guest had to go to that runoff? What was it, a year or so ago that they had to do that? And with 3 candidates,
2 years ago.
2 years ago,
yeah.
You know, I would say yes, but then again, it's all about the turnout, and it's just this is a hard one to figure out simply because of what week it landed on. The absentee vote looks to be okay.
Yeah.
Looking county by county, I mean, here in Lauderdale County, just a shade under 700 absentee votes. We've heard the polls have been a little bit slow. I think in-person voting is going to be a little bit slow today. I'll be interested to see whenever I go vote after lunch today what that number is going to be like. I mean, I think it's going to be very low today across the board. I mean, it's usually low anyway, but today with the presidential part being set up, a lot of people are going to be like, I'm not going to go. But then again, they just kind of bury their head in the sand and don't pay attention to the Senate part of things unless they watch a lot of Fox News or Newsmax, because Roger Wicker's commercials are all over the television screen. But I don't know. I think it's going to be low voter turnout today. And,
did you get the advertisement on your phone of Senator Kennedy next door in Louisiana endorsing or calling us to vote for?
My wife got that yesterday, and I did not get it on my phone, but she got it on hers yesterday, and she said, "Well, I'll never support that guy again." I was like, "Whoa, okay."
But she don't vote in Louisiana though, does she?
Yeah, she said, I used to think a lot of Mr. Kennedy, but not so much no more. And I was like, okay, that tells me how you're voting tomorrow.
There's a message.
I was like, but yeah, some of those went out yesterday. Of course, the mailers have gone out too, and little more money is being spent by the Wicker camp in this particular race here. So.
Well, that's I'm sure because of because of his longevity there in the Senate, he's probably got a little war chest there to spend with some maybe PAC money coming in there and helping him as well. So yeah, you do see a lot. He realizes this is this is a serious challenge.
And I will say this much: whoever comes out of this process, here's something to kind of chew on as we go on here. Let's say Wicker survives today, or if he has to survive a runoff, when you get to November, you've got the Democratic challenger who's unopposed to that being Ty Pinkins. Of course, he ran for Secretary of State this past time. He was kind of a fill-in candidate because the other candidate had some health concerns, so the Democratic Party kind of plugged him in. We had him here on our show, and very impressive guy, very well-spoken. He might pull some votes from the Republican side just because of the dissatisfaction of Roger Wicker. Not saying it's going to happen, but you just never know how a general election will happen. What do they always say, Roger, when it comes to Republican and Democrats, when it comes to the general election, do they come home and vote in the party?
Yeah.
And in this case, if it ends up being Wicker, which you would probably say it will be, will Republicans just have to hold their nose so tightly to vote for Roger Wicker that are so dissatisfied with how he has voted on certain things here recently?
And what are those votes? Because I was sitting there trying to look at his record there, and I know he may have voted for something at one time that may have been controversial. May have voted against something as well. But I was trying to sift through all of his votes this morning just to try to get a handle on what is it specifically that the voters in Mississippi might be dissatisfied with.
I know the most recent vote was the Ukraine bill. I think that's one that's really...
That's what's fresh on everybody's mind.
That's what's fresh on everybody's mind is the way the two senators here in Mississippi voted either for or against that. Cindy Hyde-Smith voted against that bill, and Wicker voted for it. And there's been other votes in the past, especially with the January 6th stuff and others. The border bill that he voted against at one point or another. There's been several border bills that have been tried to have been passed through the Senate chamber that he has voted against. So, and of course, we can talk about the committees that he's on there, but let's face it, folks, he's been up there forever. And I've always said, we need to have some term limits on these folks. He's been in there since 2007. It has been quite a while, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's Mornings in Meridian. We want to know what you think, so we put our number out there, 601-485-9191, 601-485-9191. If you're going to vote, give us a report. If you've been to the polls, what was it like at your polling place? We'd like to hear it, 601-485-9191. If you're not going to vote, call and tell us why. Is it one of the reasons that I see here from the 2016 election? 25% say they didn't like the candidates. 15% said they weren't interested and didn't feel like their vote would make a difference. 14 said too busy or conflicting schedule. And then there was illness and disability. Then there was a category called other. And way down at the bottom there was a forgot to vote. So don't forget to vote if you're planning on it. But what reason do you give if you don't vote?
Do you think he gets 50% plus one tonight? Like I said, I'm still kind of at odds with it. I don't know.
Yeah. The
3 candidates. I mean, it's tough to call. So
well, and I know, and here's what I know. I know the other 2 candidates have been working very, very hard. They haven't had the money, but they have had the time to get on the road and really knock on doors, and so. I think it's, I part of me feels like because of that split, it's going to be of a challenge to get that 50%.
Yeah, I think so. It's just a matter of who's going to be in the runoff, I guess you would say, be either Mr. Burton or Mr. Eubanks, and they have both run very good campaigns. I mean, Mr. Burton is doing a big bus tour. He's been all over the state. Made a stop here in Meridian recently. We had him on the show. This past week, we had Mr. Eubanks on a couple of weeks back as well. He's made several swings through Meridian during his campaign, so they are hitting the ground running. And I don't want anyone to think that we're just kind of leaning you away from Roger Wicker. I'm just giving you the facts as they are. I mean, Roger Wicker has not been at a lot of these events with Mr. Eubanks and Mr. Burton himself. I mean, there was that one event that was mentioned up in North Mississippi where Roger Wicker sent his wife in I wouldn't say it was a debate style event, but it was just an event, and she was having to take the slings and arrows of Wicker's record, and that really spoke volumes. And I get it. He is a sitting senator right now, and they are, I guess, quote unquote, in some kind of a session with a vote all the time, and he's got a campaign going. I understand that, but it's just different strokes for different folks, I guess. So.
Well, one thing that's a little unsettling for me, and that doesn't say how I'll vote. It just says the fact that we put feelers out there for people to, at no charge, to talk on our station and give their platform and their reasons. And we heard from Redley from the Eubanks campaign. We finally got in touch with the Burton campaign, but we still, after several tries, you have not heard from the Wicker campaign.
Nope, not one bit.
So, and that, I know I'm a professional. This is radio, and this is just, we put it out there. But what does that say? What is it saying to the listeners of this station? And that's really what I'm getting at, is what does it say to the listeners of this station if a candidate doesn't see it advantageous or worthwhile to accept that invitation?
Yep, I agree. Totally agree.
I mean, and forget about you and I. I'm just talking about what does it say to the listeners of this station?
That's not the first time it's happened.
Mornings in Meridian, 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, y'all. Cup number 2. The dog's been walked, and I'm ready to talk.
All right.
Dog's been walked, ready to talk.
Well, be sure to go vote today.
Oh, I am, and that's what I was calling in for. If you're a registered voter, in my opinion, you have no excuse. Does your excuse really top the people that have died for you to have that right? If there's a will, there's a way. And if you take the time to register to vote, you should take the time to go out and use it. But that's just my opinion. But I don't think anything tops the bloody sands of Iwo Jima or any other place that people have died. So you can do just that. I almost consider it treasonous not to vote if you're registered.
Well, and I hear what you're saying, and I do agree that we need to take our civic duty seriously. But unfortunately, the same people that shed their blood and gave their lives also gave them the right to not vote. That was kind of part of the freedom of America. We don't like that. We don't want to hear that, but that's also true.
Well, the ones that aren't registered to vote, they should be happy with whatever life has to hand out for them. Yeah. Because they don't do anything but just exist, in my opinion. I mean, if you're in this country.
Yeah.
Because that's how this country operates, is by democracy, and democracy means you go out and vote. And maybe we can get the illustrious Roger Wicker out of there after 17 years.
Yeah, I was just looking at his voting record a little deeper here about Roger Wicker. He talked about the Ukraine bill that he voted for here recently. Well, every single time a Ukraine bill has come to the Senate floor, he has voted in favor of it.
Yeah. So. He's such a rhino. I mean, he really is. Isn't he? I mean, he's got a record to prove it, doesn't he? It goes with the demon crats. The demon cats, I know what Hannah's called them.
Yeah.
Well, it really depends on how you know, there's a couple of schools of thought on this whole Ukraine thing. Is it worth us, and is it to our benefit to fight Russia by way of the Ukrainians? So you say, okay, well, there's that aspect of it. Also, the fact that we might need to supply them with armaments that are made here in the United States.
What do we get out of it, though, Roger?
Well, that's what I'm getting around
what
to.
do we get out of it, really?
If you have,
they were a corrupt government before Russia invaded them.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be one once it's finally over with.
Well, I'm thinking here. Okay, again, just bear with me because I'm just trying to think in terms of how Washington works. So then, if we're supplying weapons and things to Ukraine, then there are companies in the U.S. that have to remanufacture those weapons or resupply. So there's some money that can probably come back in the United States for that sort of thing.
And how much of that money is going back into these pockets of these senators, too?
Yeah, and we can keep doing it until we get sucked into a war again over there.
Yeah, I'm just talking about how the different schools of thought out there. But it's as far as just there's a lot to be said about the fact that if you're just sending a bunch of money over there and it's not being accounted for, why do it? That's just why in the world do that? But if there's accountability,
what just floors me is we're not putting our own border number one over everything else. Every other country, every other, we still continue to not put this country first, and that's why Roger Wicker is not going to get my vote, and it'll take somebody voting for him to cancel mine today.
Well, the thing about it is Biden sits there and said the media is asking him specifically now, and it's not just Peter Ducey from Fox. There's plenty of other reporters asking him, President, what are you going to do about the border? He's like, I'm waiting on Congress. And there was questions yesterday. Well, Mr. President, you could do an order yourself by the stroke of a pen. And he's like, no, I'm waiting on Congress to do it. Yeah. So that's always his crutch, to wait on Congress to do it. It's a political standoff, yeah.
Well, he didn't wait on Congress to reverse everything that Trump did.
Yeah.
And the border was one of them. Say in Mexico, he rescinded that without going through Congress, didn't he?
And of course, too, Alejandro Mayorkas, I guess
I like the way you did that.
Yeah,
another POS.
Exactly. He
person of society. I'm trying to think.
It was basically.
No, you're close, but no.
He is on video. He is basically on video. There is a video out there where he is basically going through all of the Trump, I guess, border, I would say laws or rules or whatever that he had in place when his administration was in charge. He's bragging about getting rid of them, and I'm like, that's the problem.
Yeah,
you're sitting there bragging about what you did, and that's the problem with what we have right now.
Basically, the idea is whatever Trump did, undo it regardless of the consequences to this country.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did. Hey, y'all remember the first thing he did? The very first.
But now you're talking about Biden, not the senator.
Well, the same class.
Class.
Shut down the Keystone Pipeline. Why would you do that? What good is going to come out of that for this country? That's what it absolutely just floors me. It's like I'm convinced Democrats are anarchists. They're socialists, and they are hell bent on bringing this country down. I mean, look at their voting record. Look at what they do. Look at the clown they got for a president. But that's just me. I'm a loose.
I think the word.
I'm almost, if you just a lineage check, I bet you could trace me back to Has.
I think the word that you use there is probably the most accurate, and that is socialist, with the idea of redistributing other people's wealth,
money,
other people's wealth.
Yep.
Not necessarily their stash.
Because you see the line that it was used by Biden. He's using it a lot on the campaign trail. They just got to pay their fair share. They got to pay their fair share.
That's a typical line.
How many houses does he have?
Exactly. And I want to say, Mr. President.
What do you think he is, a pauper?
And I want to say, Mr. President. Okay, if everybody needs to pay their fair share, what about your son paying his fair share? Okay.
Get off that crack pipe long enough to figure it out.
All right, good stuff.
And I thought Billy Beer was bad.
If we could just have If we could just have Jimmy and Billy Carter back.
I think it pales in comparison now.
It's too bad
Well,
that.
I'm listening, y'all.
Yeah.
Have a good day. I'm going to get cleaned up and go to the polls wherever it is I vote today.
All right, go get them.
Y'all have a good one. Listen
Bye.
in.
All right. Mornings in Meridian. You too can be part of the show. 601-485-9191. We do need to take a break for a Fox News update.
You just got to pay your fair share.
Yeah. You're talking about raising all these corporate taxes and things like this. Folks, you've got to remember something about corporations and people of means. They give middle-class people jobs. And they have enough money that if you change the rules and make it too difficult, they don't have to play. They can take their marbles and go home.
Yep.
We'll take a break. We'll be back.
other opportunities where you find yourself desired.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm only desired like in radio, and that's only halfway. No, the point is here, and this is what you're going to have always. This will be with you always. You're going to have lobbyists. I mean, this is on state side of the government, on federal side of the government. You are always going to have those that are paid, and sometimes quite handsomely, to court your representatives and delegation for their cause. That's just that's life in these United States, and that's the way it's going to be.
Well, I like what you said when you first came on about politicians in diapers.
Yeah.
Quoting Mark Twain, politicians in diapers must be changed often, and for the same reason.
And I think that tells you how I'll be voting today.
Ah, good deal. Well,
here in election in Mexico, Mississippi.
Whoa.
Mississippi?
Hey, no kidding.
Mississippi.
Hey, Mississippi.
We just got a new name for the state, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Okay.
I love it.
All right. Have a good one.
Hey, thank you. 601-485-9191. Love to hear from you. Yes. Mercy. Yeah, I was doing a little research for my weekend job and looking up the amount of homicides in the world.
Yeah.
The United States is not number one.
Oh.
Number one, we do have over 20,000 homicides in the United States a year, but we're topped by Mexico they're up in the 30s.
Is that on the border or is that on the other side of the border?
I wonder how they count those.
Yeah.
He's on your side. No, he's not. He's on your side.
Divvy him up.
Mornings in Meridian. 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Here's the mayor of Sucalina checking in.
Yes, sir. Well, my comment is that if Roger Wicker ends up in the general election, we've got a choice between two Democrats. One calls himself a Republican, but it don't matter. You can vote either one of the men in. You don't get a Democrat, no matter how you vote.
Yeah. Yep. The name Trent Lott was mentioned, and I do happen to know that he was a champion of the fact that, actually as Speaker of the House, he was doing a pretty decent job until finally somebody nailed the race card on him when he had that little birthday celebration for Strom Thurmond. But you go back to Washington as to how people have what we have. There's you have to ask yourself, what level of compromise do you want from your elected officials? Because Trent Lott pointed out and even wrote it in his book where he says, in Washington, it's more about you trying to figure out what you're going to compromise to get what you want for your state and your district. If you do go up to Washington with the line that I'm just going to dig in my heels and I'm going to vote no for everything unless it and not make any concessions to the party across the aisle, then nothing is going to come to your state and nothing will be done. So to that, what would you say, sir?
Well, it's just between a rock and a hard place because I heard a man say to compromise is to give in, shows weakness.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's better to get nothing if you can't get something you want.
Yeah, yeah. I think back at some of the things that we have, and here's what I have noticed. It seems like that the people that represent us in Washington, their areas do pretty well in the state. I think about Roger Wicker being from Tupelo, and of course I know he's had family down in Hattiesburg and all the rest. So, but Tupelo has done quite well in that area, and on down kind of to the Golden Triangle. But you go back to ancient history, Go back to ancient history when we had John Stennis from this area. He was from this east central part of Mississippi, and it just so happened that some property owned by the family got turned into a naval air station.
Yep.
And call it what you want. He got it brought here, got it done. I think it was probably a trade-off because the Air Force Academy that was originally sought for Mississippi ended up going to Colorado Springs. But instead, out of that negotiation, compromising, and all the rest, you had the Naval Air Station here in East Central Mississippi. And we are continually benefiting from that from politicians who were up in Washington doing exactly what we sometimes say we don't like, and that's negotiating.
Absolutely.
So
right.
It's
but who's negotiating on our behalf here in East Central Mississippi now?
Nobody.
Nobody. Exactly.
So what I'm saying is, kind of where you're from, things kind of do quite well. You know, it's interesting.
Well, you know.
So it's Rob Atkinson for senator. That's who I.
Oh God, no!
We're going to put Meehan on the map.
Woo!
I'll verify that. We need to run him for vice president.
There you go.
Trump Rob 24.
Yeah. And we thank those same gentlemen. I thank them for putting food on the table for my wife before I knew her, because her father worked at Lockheed. And she was able to be raised and schooled and cared for by him having a job there at Lockheed Martin.
Right.
So there, you just have to really, really, really kind of think about what you really want out of Washington. And usually, if you want something for your district, it's going to mean that you're going to reach across the aisle and you're going to allow something else to happen in somebody else's corner of the world in addition to that.
It's a shame they put so much pork and all that stuff. If they had line item veto, maybe we could get rid of some of that stuff. But I tried to talk to Roger Wicker several times, wrote him a letter and all that stuff. Never could get a response until he wrote me a letter like everybody else. Want money? I need $6 million. Can you give me at least $1,500? Well, what kind of representation that? He never answered the first question that I asked him when I wrote him a letter.
Yeah. Yep.
He's too big for little folks. But anyway, my other comment about this foreign aid money, you got to understand. When they send cash money, about 40 to 50% of it is called, we got to get paid for taking care of this money before we buy anything with that money to help our country, ammunition for Ukraine or food for the PLO or whatever. The men at the top, you got to bribe them first, and that's why we don't need to send money. If they want ammunition and war goods, pay that stuff off and let that go without any middleman's money being spent.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, I hear what you're saying. I appreciate you checking in. We got to get a break in here, though.
Thank you. I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us. We're coming in here hot here because we're running out of time, but we have time for one more phone call here at Mornings in Meridian. Roger, along with Mr. Atkinson, the Rob man.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Main man from Meehan. All right. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show. You got about a minute. Go ahead.
Good morning. I love Benny, but he's about to take all my time.
Yeah, I tell you.
he was saying one of those fellas running against Whitaker is a Brino. Which one is it?
I didn't hear him say that. I didn't know that one.
I thought I did.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
I'd like to know how to vote because I want to vote for the one that beats Whitaker.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you won't even be voting for Whitaker. Whitaker's not even on the ballot. It's a Wicker.
Wicker.
There you go.
Tomato. Whatever you want to call it, a piece of crap.
Oh man, I'm telling you. But no, I didn't. I think he was referring to the incumbent as the Rhino, not any of the challengers.
That's right.
Yeah. But anyway, at
Looks
least,
like
but
both of them a good man, but I want to vote for the one that's going to get the most votes.
But you are planning on getting out and voting, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, good man. Appreciate that. Well, give us a report. We'll have a report tomorrow on the primary. So be sure and chime in on that tomorrow.
Always do.
Try to beat Benny to the punch. How's that?
Yeah, I'm gonna dodge these bullets down here.
Oh, be careful out there, Highway Village. All right, it's Mornings in Meridian. Rob,
got a comment over here real quick. Happy Term Limit Tuesday.
Happy Term Limit Tuesday. Oh, have mercy. Oh, we have more fun than it has a right.
Be back.
All right, I'll be somewhere. Y'all have a great day, everybody. Remember, God bless and
bye, local.
Yes, absolutely.